Hold on, Otas.
And welcome to the Bird's Eye View. I am your host, JB. These are my good friends, Quay and Rick. First and foremost, we want to thank you all for continuing to subscribe to us and check out our podcast weekly. Make sure that you check out those socials and the details, and that you're liking, sharing, and subscribing to everything that we put out. Rick, with that being said, tell us what we're going to be talking about today, brother.
All right, so we're going to start the conversation with Kirk Cousins and his potential to end up being a Steeler or stay our backup quarterback.
So the Steelers are considering him now, even with Aaron Rodgers?
What they said was that they're going to keep him as a contingent, or not keep him, but they're going to make him a contingency plan if Aaron Rodgers just falls through the woodworks.
I feel like,
what do you think? What do you guys think about that?
I don't think Kirk has a problem with it. I mean, at this point, he's the highest paid backup in the league. So it's like, I'm waiting for my spot to open up. But at the same time, I'm not in a rush to be anywhere, so I'm going to get paid. Now, again, I say, geographically, it made sense to send him to Tennessee. But I understand him not wanting to do a repeat with Cam Ward. So it's nice that the Steelers are an option, but I mean, who do they have now? I mean, DK is good.
Oh, you talking about
like weapons-wise, like they lost Najee. I mean, Jalen Warren's the back. Now he's the starter.
He's in right now.
You got DK. I mean, yeah, cool, but so DK hasn't shown he's number one yet.
So it's really just DK. I mean, he's number one just because there's nothing else out there. It's him and Calvin Austin.
Robert Woods.
They were showing Robert Woods.
Okay, Robert Woods. Yesterday. Right, so it's him, Robert Woods, and Pat Freiermuth.
Freiermuth is solid.
They drafted a running back.
I'm pretty sure. Though.
Who?
He's a chiseled ass running back.
You talking about Caleb Johnson?
Yeah.
They drafted a running back, so I think Caleb Johnson might start over Jalen Warren. I feel like if Arthur Smith had a preference, it's the big back.
Already knows his running backs.
Yeah, so I feel like Jalen Warren's kind of like, and Jonnu Smith.
But hold on, that's a great point. How is, if for the fact, let's say they don't go A-Rod, which we already know, I don't know how him and A-Rod's personality is going to work, but how would Kirk and Arthur Smith work? Because Arthur Smith doesn't make sense a lot of times, and I don't see where Kirk would not challenge that.
I mean, I feel like Arthur kind of just, he likes to use quarterbacks as kind of, I say mobile, but I'll say like that can use off-platform throws. Kirk, I don't know if Kirk can do
off target.
Yeah, he's not. Kirk is, I don't know if he's healthy, for real. Is he?
I mean, he was boasting about how healthy he is now after the season when he just lied and said he wasn't injured. So, take it with a grain of salt. He should be healthy.
So do you think, if Aaron, let's say we're already in OTAs, that started for pretty much everybody. If you haven't, then they start tomorrow. But do you think, when do you think, the timetable is that, Aaron Rodgers has to show up? Or it's either, Mason Rudolph or
Will Johnson?
Will Howard.
Or Will Howard, yeah. Let me, Quay, you take that one. What do you think?
About which one? Will Howard?
I'm saying, what's the timeline for Aaron Rodgers to get to the Steelers?
Mm-hmm.
that'll
segue to another option.
Yeah.
That will lead to
man beats to the. He's doing what he wants to. I don't think he's going. I honestly don't think he's going to play this year.
You don't?
No.
That's fair. I mean, he's getting sit. He's sitting. He 20.
He's sitting, but he's so arrogant, man.
He said he got a lot of personal stuff going on, and he said he got a new relationship. So, I mean, if Freaky Rodgers,
Kirk?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about Aaron?
Yeah, Aaron. He said he got a new a lot of personal stuff going on.
I'm about to say Kirk left.
Personal stuff with personal drugs, maybe.
He said he got a family to take in consideration. So
families.
And I don't think we're going to trade Kirk anyway. So.
Yeah.
But I feel like when do the Steelers give up on this Aaron Rodgers dream? Because like you're saying, you don't think he's going to play this year, but we still don't know whether or not he is. So what's the timeline? Does he have until July 1st? And that's where we're going to see a couple extra moves probably happening prior to training camp.
Bro, Arthur Smith went into a season with Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, and Logan Woods. I think he's cool right now. I think that wasn't all in one sentence. I'm like that. So I think he's cool. I don't think he's under too much pressure right now.
Yeah, and then
he want to call 40 runs a game anyway. So.
Yeah, and then if you just think of like prior to them getting Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, Mike Tomlin, he's won 8 games with Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're scared to play with those kind of quarterbacks because they're not new to it.
Well, if it's possible,
i.e., why they drafted a defensive lineman in the first round versus a quarterback.
Yeah. It's fair to say, okay, cool. They don't worry about quarterback, or the Steelers do not make as much emphasis as they should on quarterback.
I even heard that the Falcons cut the price down to like.
That's what I was gonna bring up.
Yeah.
How much is it at this point? Does it become, if we're doing this tier title with A-Rod, when does it become about price with Kirk, and how much is Atlanta trying to get other teams to eat? Because I'm seeing various numbers. I seen a report where it said if we can even get somebody to eat $7 million of the deal, that's a win for us. But in reality,
I think
this is a lose deal.
I don't think they said if Atlanta would eat $7 million.
No, if the other team would eat $7 million, Atlanta just takes off how much.
No, they said Atlanta wasn't budging on like it needed to be greater, and for me it makes sense. I wouldn't budge either. I already gave you 80, 90 million. What is the extra 20 going to do for me? You a better insurance policy than me than freaking Emory Jones.
Fair.
So why would I
Easton Stick?
in a year I gotta win.
Emergency quarterback.
Why would I get rid of my backup quarterback when he's the best backup in the league? And people said Dylan Gray, please get out of here with that. Kirk's the best backup in the league, and I've already paid him the bulk of his money.
So you would say it's gonna come out of.
I think it comes down to draft capital
And desperation.
You have to raise the price. If it's a third, it has to be a third at least for me to like him. Giving him a fourth and letting a solid backup go is not worth the risk, and especially
because you have to replace the backup.
Yeah, and then we don't have the salary for that. Then it's like it's a year I have to win. Knock on wood. Let's just say we need him for a game. He's a high end player for a game. I at this point I've already got 2 edge rushers in the draft, so it's not. We've already maneuvered around not having a 3rd round pick. We've already bite the bullet of losing like the 5th round pick. We've already still executed a great draft strategy around that. So at this point, why would I bank on draft capital when my job is on the line and I might not even get to use the pick? So it doesn't make sense to get rid of him in my opinion.
And then who's to say that he don't, go to whatever other press conference and start talking or whatever.
Yeah, because Kirk can't shut his
we end up
mouth.
losing another pick. He's like,
Ever.
yeah, they tried to sell me to the highest bidder, blase, whatever. And I'm like, man, can't you just go?
Like, you already cost us so much because you just can't shut the fuck up. Like, I really... And that's part of... I remember we had this conversation in the first episode where I'm still on the stance for stuff. I want him going. Granted, I do agree with you. He is the best backup quarterback in the NFL. But the distraction of him being here and the liability that he can be...
You said Daniel Jones? Who said that?
I didn't say Daniel Jones.
When I said that,
you said... Who was it? You said it was...
Oh, some people say Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, Dylan Gabriel. Oh, okay.
No. But I feel like the distraction of him being there and the liability that he can be, he's already cost us a 5th round pick. What happens if he comes out, oh, by the way, this happened last year? Because let's not forget, we got this whole Netflix documentary coming out in a month, right? So at this point, what's to be said in this that's going to possibly make us an issue? So it's a possibility, like, the rush of him getting out of here, it could come down to training camp injury. It might come down to, hey, just how much more of this media can he take? Will he waive it based off of
this is not New York though. They're not. He's not doing any interviews. The quarterback one gets interviews. He didn't show up to OTA. Okay, who cares? It's voluntary. And everyone calls it distraction for opinions. I don't think so. My arm is bigger than yours. I'm faster than you. I can touch every other field. I'm better than you, and it's no distraction.
Quicker than you.
I do everything. I do everything better than you. I'm not distracted.
It's fair. So
you fake injured, like being hurt last year because you knew I was coming.
Right.
So I don't think Michael Penix is the type to be bothered by Kirk's ability.
Yeah. No.
And to his defense, he's not the type of guy. We don't know him personally, but he's not going to cause it. I mean, outside of his little onesie twosie interviews, it's not like he in the locker room with his headphones on off to the side.
I'm about to say, even if you watched the last QB one and you was watching him, like he doesn't move like he's just kind of like a vanilla guy. Like if he started doing stuff like outlandish and whatever, that would kind of surprise me, like overly surprise me. I'm like, bro, you just eat like just regular white bread sandwiches, just go to practice, come home to your wife, like
it's not gonna do nothing crazy.
Sure.
Well, I mean, if hopefully, obviously training camp's coming right around the corner. It's gonna be like he'll be here as fast as we know it. But I mean, hopefully we get more answers. I stand on we need him out. But whenever that comes, I'm not in a rush to see it happen as much as I was once before. But I do see the potential liabilities if he is to stay.
I think it's a big positive him being here.
Yeah,
I think
I'm with Quay. Like, I think it's a big having that backup. Just worst case scenario is always the best thing. But like he said, if the team's willing to give us like a third for him,
take it. But
I think what people fail to realize in this whole situation is, one, if you lose him, then who you replace him with. Two,
Easton Stick.
Michael Penix played 3 games. Great. We saw a lot. But it was still 3 games. It's so much more he's going to see in a season that he didn't see in 3 games. He played the New York Giants, the Commanders, and the Carolina Panthers. They're not world beaters. Mm-hmm. So you start the season against Tampa, got Buffalo there. He's going to see a lot, and to have a veteran that's played a lot of football, to still rely on him.
He needs that in his ear.
He still needs that because it's still a lot that he haven't seen. And people need to realize, like, okay, those 3 games was good. But I think people need to be prepared for like a up and like he's still
he has room to grow.
Right.
I feel like what you're saying is it could be looked at kind of like a Drew Bledsoe situation.
Well, if you looked at the Mooney interview today, he said it's a lot that I'm still teaching him, not that I'd share with Penix, that I was sharing with Kirk last year, and I was like, wow. So it's still room there. Like and they were speaking of him in the sense where he still has a lot to learn. He's still like.
So I'm a transition because we are talking about Kirk Cousins, and that you just did bring up the fact that he didn't show up to OTAs. Mm-hmm. So what is
it possible there's something breaking?
What's your opinion on just OTAs right now? Just as far as opening day.
I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. I'm not sure.
I don't think it's.
And then it's things like I have been the guy for the last 12 OTAs. Mm-hmm. That's still weird to maneuver. Yeah. Like, so I'm not the guy. I don't have the same voice anymore. It's voluntary. Yeah. It's not like I'm QB1 where I'm learning, like I'm coming to a new system. Mm-hmm. I'm learning new players. Like, I'm not adjusting to all that. I know the offense. I'll be there when it's time, when my paycheck counts. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's a big deal.
I agree.
But there was a lot of players that didn't come.
I don't think it's a big deal. Speaking of big players,
a lot of players.
I don't think it's a big deal for Kirk because he's not in a primary role. He has a year of the playbook under his belt. Obviously, while he is working on his potential future plans, it's still just not important for him to be here because he has no part in the install. Mm-hmm. So I think it was better for Penix to have more of the focus anyway. Because we definitely know he needs all the chemistry he can get. You obviously see the fans are going crazy over the missed passes he's doing. Like it's not freaking OTAs. Relax, people. But still,
you know what? He's 37. Like he doesn't.
Yeah, he's 37.
He doesn't need to show.
He's been doing this for 13 years. So it's like it's.
But then also he's not getting QB1 like how Penix didn't get reps. Mm-hmm. It's like so. I'm not showing up to throw to Kadero Hodge. Like, I've been funny. Like, but for I've been throwing. I went from Justin Jefferson to Dre London. Now I got to throw like. So I'm like,
I'm not doing that to Chris Blair.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Now speaking of OTAs, why your boy ain't show up?
Who, Ray?
No.
Ray.
No. Why your boy ain't show up?
KPG?
Caleb McGurry?
KPG?
There's a lot of guys that show up. I talked to my boy. We gonna be straight. He had
where he at?
A charity event.
Okay. Okay, for sure.
I think all his boys he went to Dubai with showed up. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he'll be there when it matters.
All right. I'm just saying, Unicorn not showing me enough magic
right now. I'm going to tell you something right now. Man, you already chopped it up. I know what's going on. I know your situation. I appreciate you for keeping me informed because I knew before the news broke that you weren't going to be there because I knew I was going to have to ask questions about it. So we good. I'll see you next week like we talked about. And then,
just say you follow his Finsta. Shout out his Finsta.
Shout
Shout out his Finsta.
I got his real number. Like, really
my
about
bad.
that.
He be caked up, bro.
Hey,
Nigga sitting cow piss with the feet up.
You're like, what you doing later?
That game against the Commanders, I saw you, bro.
They told me they didn't want to believe in you, but I knew we was going to do it.
Me and him go back all the way with his rookie year in Miami. Won me a lot of money that game. Since then. Oh, damn.
Alright, but just like, what do you guys like? How do you guys feel about just like opening day OTAs? Like about just like everybody in general, the people that were there, that showed up, and just the coaching staff and everything like that.
Well, Jalen Walker looked explosive, as always the word that comes out with him every practice he goes to. I saw some work James Pierce Jr. was getting done to. He was working the bag. That power he's working on, I definitely think that's going to be a nice compliment to his first step. We talked earlier today about some of the starting lineups they were rolling out. Obviously, we don't see the people we want right now, but it is early. You have, for example, Kevin King. I believe he worked at safety.
I'm sorry,
Alfred.
bro. I've been off Kevin King since he was on the Packers, and I saw Scotty Miller turn him up, bro. I'm sorry.
They're doing that. You got to earn the approach. You got to earn the ropes.
D. Alfred. I mean, I personally believe right now between him and Clark Phillips, I'll put Clark Phillips more at the nickel. But I get it. D. Alfred's more physical to an extent. So, sure. We'll see how it goes. But, I think overall, they looked pretty good today from the clips I saw.
I'm concerned about Pierce.
Pierce?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
He didn't practice.
I thought that was on purpose, though.
No, they said he's off to the sideline. He didn't participate in team drills.
They said it was something about he had to learn something extra, if I'm not.
Nah, they didn't say. I don't know. Nothing's came out, but he didn't practice. Yeah, he wasn't rotating in when they went, so I don't know what that's about.
Maybe a little injury.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Let's not speculate.
Because he was still dressed out, so he would have been inside if it was something serious. But
I'm about to say, because
he's working the bag.
Mason Graham had, he didn't play. He had a stomach bug, whatever. I'm not saying that
he was throwing up and shit.
Yeah, they said he had a stomach bug. I'm not saying he could have. It could be something slight like that or whatever. But at least he was there.
I'd
he
be
was
sick if I was in
sideline,
Cleveland too. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one person I liked watching today was Caden Ellis. They were talking to him a lot. Even though we got Jalen Walker and he is going to eventually be leader of the defense, you can tell that Caden is that captain for us. And I think, how Gilbert had Sherwood go crazy, I think he's going to have Ellis take a huge step up.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was watching them interview the vets after OTAs and kind of everything they had to say. And the thing with Caden that kind of just popped off was he was saying that Ulbrich is a linebackers coach and he's never, and it's not, his last couple coaches were D-line coaches.
Did you catch a sneak diss?
Huh?
You catch the little sneak diss he had?
Yeah.
He said, I won't be one-on-one in coverage with Justin Johnson.
Yeah, he was like, he was dissing Jimmy.
Yeah. This is a Jimmy Lake anti-stand. No,
just that show was not.
That was awful.
Yeah, but pretty much like everybody pretty much has the same thing. They're saying that like the thing that Ulbrich has that Jimmy didn't is that when he goes to film and install is that everything is directional and intentional.
There's more polish on it.
Yeah, it's like he's building it for you type thing like that. Like it's making him like it gives. Like Jesse said that watching him is like, or not watching him, but like talking to him and watching his installs and actually seeing it like in practices and stuff like that is like, you can see his vision because he gives you a clear plan for it. And that everything that he, like when he's talking to people and he's not badgering you, he's not making it
he
whatever.
Said because
whatever.
he played before that he understood, understands.
Yeah,
like
that like the room is like, you can tell like the room is different because you kind of have that player coach kind of, you know what I'm saying, that he can also break it down for you cerebrally because he was like an avid player.
I mean, honestly, it's going to be, I do like that this defense is going to get back to Jesse and Caden both being those primary guys. But I also like the influences on the defense between Salah, between the Fangio effect. We are going to, I feel like we're really going to put a lot of pressure on people. condense them into this box. And, Yulberg is going to be the guy that just keeps sending the house. Like, I feel like one thing we didn't see a lot of last year because we just couldn't was zero blitz.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be a team that, hey, when it's third down, we're coming.
Yeah, that's what Caden Ellis was talking about. Mm-hmm. He was like, kind of Jimmy got himself into a point to where because they couldn't rush was that at the end of the season, they were like, Caden, you got to rush. And he's like, now with Ulbrich said that you're going to be doing everything I could possibly have you do. Mm-hmm. You're going to be pass coverage. You're going to be blitzing. You're going to be doing everything that essentially
he said something real interesting. He was like, this offseason, he didn't work on he said, I didn't work on getting faster.
Yeah,
I didn't
like
work on getting
nothing
stronger.
Specifically.
He said, since I'm going to be doing everything, I don't want to just be a guy that's good at everything and not great at everything. He said, so I honed on it, on a lot of different skills to play this role. He's
he prioritized technique.
He said, my teammates, they get to do stuff repetitive, and I'm the only one that has to learn different techniques on it. I'm like, oh, so that's a very good. But another thing, Troy didn't practice today.
Well, Troy never practiced.
Troy's never healthy. When's he out there? At this point.
That's why we were so big on, hey, let's get Jalen, let's get potentially Barrett Carter, that.
Now you know that he did. That Caden had high praise for Divine Diablo.
Yes.
He was
mentioned J.D. Burton too.
Yeah, he was mentioning that, obviously a new guy coming in, he watched his film from him at the Raiders. He was like, yeah, he can hit and everything like that. But what impressed him was his speed and athleticism for pass coverage and stuff like that.
Is it safe to say that the Troy Anderson experiment is over?
I don't want to say that just yet.
I feel like when you start off OTA hurt, it's like two.
I'll say I wouldn't be surprised. I said I wouldn't be surprised if JD played more reps than Troy.
But I'm saying he's not hurt. But I'm saying who the hell? They didn't sign a tight end.
Gary wasn't out there.
But I'm saying they didn't sign a tight end to replace. You know what I'm saying? They signed a linebacker.
Fair. I get it. We traded up for Troy Anderson. I get all that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jay played more.
Typically, it's hard to recover when you don't show up for OT. Whatever it is, sometimes it's hard to get that spot back. Yeah. I'm saying it might be. If I show off in camp, it's too late.
We've definitely advanced our depth at linebacker, and then honestly, I think Bertrand fits Gilbert's mold of what he wants at linebacker. And if you watch Bertrand's tape from college, he's very sideline to sideline.
He made our glass too, though.
That was last year.
Well, technically Divine.
They all got.
We're bulls in a china shop, right?
let's just say they stay healthy this year. We look okay, but it never hurts to add more depth. I know, on the 1 year we had Rashawn Evans. I know he's still a free agent, but
brother, let's not keep doing that.
Please, no.
Let's move on.
I'm just saying people that we signed him last year. Raw knows he might come back if we get injuries. That's just an example.
It's better fish.
I don't even think he'll fit this.
I mean, there might be better people. I'm sure there are better people.
Could have kept Nate Lyman for that shit.
Nah. But I like to also mention that the praise that Jesse Bates gave to Xavier, he was because he was mentioning when Jesse had gotten to the league, he was trying to kind of implementing his game like how Justin Simmons played. But then obviously when he played with Justin Simmons, he was better at his at this point than Justin Simmons. So he was like that, essentially playing with Xavier Watts, who's a ball hawk, and that that he can really learn a lot from just playing with Jesse Bates. And I think that's really gonna hit home middle of the season.
He said they've been glued at the hip. So
yeah,
Jesse and Xavier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said that he's real he's real here.
He said they start the day out together in the steam room.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he can't wait. He said now that they're on the field, they can now start talking about film.
I will say one thing that you see big from this staff, Terry and Rob primarily, is succession. They are definitely trying to plant the seeds for, hey, we got these nice vets right now, but eventually it's going to come down to contracts and come down to age, and we're going to say it's time to move on. I think so, too. We had that argument the other day. But I think that, outside of Jesse and Xavier being side by side, the Leonard Floyd to James Pierce or Caden Ellis to Jalen Walker, we have these successions that we're trying to put in place. So it's only interesting or exciting, rather, to see how we're going to continue to build.
Do you remember my breakout player on defense?
Your breakout player was James Pierce Jr.
No.
Billy Bowman.
No, not the rookie. It's Zach Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Leonard Floyd.
That's what Leonard Floyd was
He
talking
said,
about.
I've been pushing 9-6 to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
When he got, I got.
But that's what I be like.
What was that?
I feel like Zach Harrison himself isn't like a self motivator kind of. I feel like he needs somebody to push him. That's why like when Calais Campbell was here, Zach Harrison, Calais.
Well, now he is our Calais.
Yeah, he played him.
Oh, you talking about Zach?
He was playing better.
I remember it because he was making them drink water.
Exactly, like he was like really like being like, bro, you have everything.
Well,
like,
also it was a different scheme, so
yeah,
they switched the scheme to next year.
And then there's the underrated guy, Braylon Trice, that Rob was actually talking about today. Wasn't able to play in OTAs, but he is on track to be ready for training camp. So that's
I'm
it.
just
really
concerned.
good.
How behind is he?
I mean, you got to think, his ACL take, what, a year to recover from?
That's what I'm saying.
So, well, he got hurt at preseason. So
he got week
that's
one.
like
week 2, week 3
but
of
that's
August.
like
what's that? That's
Diggs is running routes on Instagram.
Who is?
Stephon Diggs. He fresh
You
out.
know what else Diggs doing?
Diggs on the boat.
Diggs on the boat here on the boat.
Diggs on the boat just saying who's dead.
Try to take it there. Like Alatoona and get right there.
Hey.
Why you not in practice?
Hey, man, look. Diggs is a superstar. He don't got to be there. You feel me?
Diggs been running routes all summer.
I'm about to say, so really Trice should be getting should be in the process of getting cleared.
That's why I'm confused.
Yeah. He should be in like his last couple times.
Yeah.
He's probably in his last like 3 weeks of rehab.
We haven't seen him all summer.
I mean, he has been, they shown, I think, a couple clips earlier in the offseason when he was running, but haven't seen him in physical contact. So,
but statistically, it's easier for a lighter weighted individual, to recover from injuries.
He was 243 for last year when he went down.
And then obviously when you have surgery like that, your weight cuts because you're not working out. You lose mass in that section, so he has to essentially like build that. His right leg is, huh?
You're a fan.
No, I had the surgery. I was on the table.
But I feel like if Trice, I mean, it's obviously going to be, well, shoot, since you had the surgery, what is it like with getting the explosion back, the full power in your knee to make the plays he did?
I'll say it's kind of different for everybody. It kind of just depends on how weak your left leg gets and how strong your right leg is, or vice versa.
Which one you?
My left, I tore the ACL in my left.
High school?
Yeah, high school in my sophomore year. So when I was doing like leg presses and stuff like that, like she wouldn't let me use my right leg for leg presses. I could only use my left. But obviously, when you start getting to that point of using like dual for real squats, so essentially it's like what you're doing is right leg dominant until your left leg catches up. Like even if you're cleared, like it's gonna be like you might see him on one side because his other leg might be stronger and he can push off harder.
So they could potentially change what side he's lining up on.
Yeah, so
just
like
for this year, and then maybe next year they start making a roll.
Like probably by the real like end of preseason, like they'll equal out.
So if defensive coordinator, would you put? He's a weak side guy right now. You'd say.
It's fine. I mean, yeah. Well, so he got hurt. No, he was hurt. He was on the strong side. Yeah, so I'd probably put him on the weak side.
Put him on as a weak side linebacker. Make sure he can, clean up whatever gets spilled.
Because trauma's a thing. So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you went through that,
bro. That
you couldn't jerk for like 9 months.
They put you to sleep.
You couldn't jerk for 9 months. It's fucking crazy.
Nah, when they give you that needle and they tell you it's this long, you're like, oh, okay. I don't even want to see you with that.
Well, it seems like, obviously we're at that point in the season where the news gets slower, but that's also okay because on the positive side, it's June 1st soon.
And then you know what happens? Y'all start sending me articles that Kyle Pitts didn't go to OTAs. And then y'all want to respond. I'm like,
we know
y'all start itching for news.
We know you're his guy. I
got on X, Penix, he's 3 for 4, and all they show is the miss. I'm like, bro, we are that off-season point.
You're his guy, so we got to come to you for the news when we don't know.
Dang, bro, folks can't get PTO.
Bro, he was just off for like 10 weeks.
I'm wasting off day.
Yeah, whatever. He can't afford no off day. He need to get his name back.
That's the only thing about y'all Falcons fan, bro.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's like, holy shit, Kevin King is starting this year. Like, come on, bro.
Bro, nobody took that shit seriously. We just said it's weird. Like, why is Kevin King in the starting lineup? Like, that's a valid question to ask.
Like, whoa. My God.
It's like, why is Kyle Pitts not there? It's also a valid question to ask. He better be there by the end of this week.
He got stuck in traffic on 85.
Got stuck in where?
85.
All right. Well, at that point, Sir Rick, you got any other additional topics we can talk about, good brother?
No, I'm off.
All right. Quay, you got any final words, Mr. KBG?
Yo, I'm gonna step out and call pitch. Just call me. That was ringing to. Oh yeah.
So I'm good.
All right. I'm glad you two cake up later. This has been another episode of The Bird's Eye View. Thank y'all for watching again. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and check out our socials and the details. We will see y'all next week.
Like, comment, subscribe.